really made me want to start playing doubles because I had never played before. So,
Yeah.
also the different strategies that go in. There are a lot of viable Pokemon in doubles that aren't viable in singles. Hitmontop being one of them. Exeggutor.
Exeggutor, runner-up at Worlds last
Yes.
year. Yeah, something you don't normally see in regular competitive play.
But there are a lot of different options you can go with in doubles, and they all work. So
yeah, I think that I like that the best. There's so many different strategies. I mean, you can do Weather, Trick Room, Tailwind, any sort of like Thunder Wave, Paralysis.
Swagger. I love Swagger.
Yeah, doubles got Swagger, guys, just in case you were wondering. So it looks like we got a little pick of the battlers up there right above our two Ugly Mugs. On your left there, that's going to be Nightblade 7000, and then on the right, that's going to be the American Dream 38, Luke Swenson. I may revert to calling him Luke because I'm kind of bad at names like that, but that's just me. So we're walking around the Union Room now.
I'm getting a little dizzy.
A little bit dizzy, yeah. I don't know. The Union Room always seems weird to me because you never know who's just going to drop down on top of you and dismand a battle. I don't know, especially at an event like this where there's so many people with DSs and Pokemon around. We had 40 people enter this tournament.
Yep.
40 people. It was huge. A $10 entry fee. We had some people drop out, but ultimately that's $270 on the line here. That's pretty close to some of the payouts at TPCI. Yeah, they're regional tournaments.
And here we go. The match is about to start.
Right. And it looks like we are from the American Dream's point of view here. So
each player is going to be able to see the other 6 Pokemon of the other player before choosing the 4 Pokemon that they bring to battle. So this is an important part of the battle.
Yeah, this is where the player gets to determine the speed, what strategy they want to use in the battle to come. And we're seeing Ben7000's team up front here, Nightblade 7000's. That's going to be Thundurus Incarnate form, Volcarona, Hitmontop, Excadrill, Latios, and Tyranitar. We're not seeing the American Dreams right now, but I've got that for you. That's going to be Tornadus Incarnate form, Ferrothorn, Tentacruel, Tyranitar, Cresselia, and Hydreigon. Definitely some, common Pokemon that we see in the metagame, especially like Hitmontop, Topmoth, Volcarona.
Yep.
I mean, looking at these teams, what pops out? What's the strategy? What do you look at? What do you see?
I definitely noticed the Tyranitar and Excadrill that Ben is bringing to this battle. Tyranitar has Sandstream as its ability, which brings Sandstorm into play, and Excadrill's ability will double its speed during the Sandstorm, and that should really help against a lot of loose Pokemon, such as Tornadus, Tentacruel, Hydreigon. It'll give it the speed boost and allow it to do a lot of damage to those Pokemon.
Yeah, and interestingly, Ben is using weather. We see a lot of weather like Sandstorm, Rain, Sun, and Hail. I almost forgot Sun because we almost never see Sun.
It did get second place at Worlds.
It did get second at Worlds, but very rarely do we see Sun. Of note, Luke's team doesn't, the American Dreams team doesn't really have that kind of weather control, which is a major thing that we see in some of these battling to make sure you have the right weather up. So, Ben's is kind of obvious. He can go with the weather way. What about Luke?
Yeah, Luke doesn't have the weather, but he does have a couple Pokemon that are a little unique. Tentacruel, you almost never see in competitive play, but we'll see if he chooses it here.
Shame. It's a great Pokemon. All right, so again, Ben7000 is going to be on top, Luke down at the bottom. Luke's decided the American Dream, tad38, decided to go with Tyranitar and Tornadus as his leads, and then going straight for the weather, that's going to be Tyranitar and Excadrill. And with that Sandstream, you got to think that Ben's in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, he is. Excadrill is going to be faster than both of Luke's Pokemon. And, well, I know what Luke is using on some of these Pokemon, but I don't know if I can say it.
I think they're far enough away.
The Tornadus does have a couple of options to use against both of the Excadrill and Tyranitar.
Yeah, of note, a mirror match Tyranitar. Tyranitar, dark rock type Pokemon, often carries the fighting type move Low Kick, 4 times super effective. So depending on the speeds of these Tyranitar, whoever can get that Low Kick off first gets a significant advantage.
Yep.
At the same time, that Excadrill, it's a Steel Ground type, meaning it gets a bonus on ground type attacks, also super effective on Tyranitar, who's rock type. And both Tyranitar and Excadrill, known for spamming Rock Slide, super effective on Tornadus.
Yep.
So Tornadus may have some options, but it's really heavily pressured here.
That's true, especially if Ben's Tyranitar on top has a Choice Scarf, allowing it to outspeed the Tornadus. So we'll see if it does.
Yeah, Choice Scarf, an item that boosts your speed by 1.5 times, but at the expense that you can only use the first move that you use once you send out your Pokemon. And that's, it's a trade-off. And Choice Scarf Tyranitar is something that we've been seeing enter the meta. Some players use it at Nationals, but it's starting to become more common now.
It is.
And I think that's for good reason.
Yep. There are a lot of Pokemon that Choice Scarf lets Tyranitar outspeed that are important.
All right, and it looks like Excadrill going for the Protect. That's going to make sure that none of Luke's Pokemon can hurt it. Looks like his Tyranitar went for the Crunch.
There we go, the Protect.
Yeah, the Protect blowing both of Luke's attacks there.
Yep.
And Tyranitar getting the Rock Slide off. Some really crucial information we got there too was that Tad's Tyranitar went before his Tornadus.
Yep.
Which basically screams that Tyranitar has been locked into Crunch now off of the Choice Scarf. And of course, Ben goes up with an early 4-3 lead with the Tyranitar's Rock Slide taking out the
That was a very nice play there, protecting the Excadrill from 2 attacks, and the Tyranitar getting off a Rock Slide, KOing Tornadus.
Tad decides to respond by sending out Hydreigon. That's one of your favorite Pokemon.
It is.
It's
a dragon type that I didn't know why it wasn't used more. It's one of my favorites, and it's starting to see a lot more play now.
Yeah. Well, it's a Dragon Dark type, unique typing, also has the excellent ability Levitate, which is going to make it immune to ground type attacks like that Excadrill's Earthquake or potential Drill Run.
Yep.
Of course, it's still the Dark type, doubling up on fighting weaknesses here. Ben decides to retreat his Tyranitar. He's going to replace that with his Thundurus Incarnate form. Oh, and there's the Earthquake, going to avoid the Thundurus and the Hydreigon, and the Ground Gem, which is an excellent new item that's been added to the Black-White editions. That's going to boost the power of that Earthquake and be enough to KO that Tyranitar.
And we'll see what this Hydreigon does.
Looks like Hydreigon's going for the Flamethrower. Yeah, Excadrill's Steel type means it's 2 times super effective on that. And oh, that dealt a lot of damage. Just about a one-hit KO there, a little bit short.
Yep, just a bit.
Of course, some people like to use Fire Blast to get that KO there.
Yep, and that would be the exact reason for using Fire Blast there.
Yeah. So Thundurus is one of the Pokemon we see a lot in VGC play. Why is that?
Well, its ability Prankster lets it use non-attacking moves at a higher priority rate, which is a faster speed than other type attacks. So mainly Thunder Wave and Swagger are going to be able to go before both of Luke's Pokemon. And Thunder Wave slows down whichever its target is. And it also gives a 25% chance of the Pokemon not being able to attack for the turn.
Yeah, and very frequently that's a turning point in the battle to get that fully para. Hydreigon's not going to take any risks, goes ahead and protects. Thundurus going for the Taunt.
Yep.
A great move, going to shut down any kind of setup that Tad's Cresselia might want to do. Excadrill going for the Rock Slide, of course Hydreigon protecting. It's going to get some damage off on that Cresselia. Critical hit. I thought that was dealing a little bit too much damage, but here's the Icy Wind. Speed control, we talked about that with weather. Oh, it just doesn't get the Excadrill, wow. And a critical hit on the Thundurus too. We got just a bunch of crits.
But it does get those speed drops, which are gravy on top of that move.
Yeah. I mean, the speed drop's not going to be as important on the Excadrill because it still has +1. But on that Thundurus as well, probably not the best move there because
of Prankster. Yep.
Yeah. But Icy Wind, one of the reasons we see Cresselia so often, because it can control speed like that. And that's really important.
It is very important. Whether it's Thunder Wave, Icy Wind, Trick Room, or just Sandstorm boosting Excadrill speed, that's all very important.
Yeah. I mean, because you want to go first.
Yes, you do.
If you go first, you can hurt people.
Yep.
And you don't want to go last. If you go last, you're getting hurt. It's just simple as that. And there's that Thunder Wave.
There's the Thunder Wave.
Hydreigon blowed its Protect last turn. It only had a 50% chance to hit the Protect again, so it's going to have to eat that paralysis there. It's going to go ahead and slow it down, while Excadrill is going to keep firing these Rock Slides, which also has a potential to flinch right there. Gravy on that one. Going to go ahead and flinch the Hydreigon, but that Icy Wind's going to finally take out that Excadrill, which has been causing Tad so much problem.
It has.
And Thundurus now at -2 speed, but it seems perfectly content to just support anything that Ben has.
And the Hydreigon is paralyzed, so that -2 speed isn't too big of a deal there.
Yeah, Cresselia will probably be going first if Thundurus decides to attack, but the damage calcs so far, the damage rolls so far, haven't been that significant.
No.
Here comes that Tyranitar again. I like this move. It threatens both Hydreigon and Cresselia immediately.
It does.
Neither of them can really stay in without risking a KO.
Yep, and Rock Slide also has a chance to flinch. Added on to the chance of being fully paralyzed, there's a good chance Hydreigon won't be able to attack if it even survives the turn.
Yeah, or Cresselia too, if Ben decides to go for the Thunder Wave on the Cresselia too. Looks like he's opting not to. Going to go ahead and do the Icy Wind again. Still not enough to get that Thundurus, but now it's at -3 speed. That Thundurus is so slow.
Yep.
And Tyranitar just shrugs it off. Doesn't deal anything.
And Crunch.
That Crunch, super effective Dark type. Going to go ahead and KO Cresselia. I love saying that. I love it when Cresselia goes down because you never get to say that because Cresselia never goes down. And here comes the hidden power from the Thundurus. And that's going to hit that Hydreigon. Is this going to be Ice? It's going to be Flying? Super effective. Hidden power Ice.
And here we see a Dragon Gem Draco Meteor.
One of the most popular attacks in the game. Dragon Gem Draco Meteor.
It is. It has a lot of power. It will one-hit KO a lot of the Pokemon in the game.
But not that Tyranitar.
Tyranitar, however, being a rock type in Sandstorm, gets a special defense boost. So that's mainly what allowed it to live that Draco Meteor.
Yeah, and that's huge because Hydreigon at 3 HP paralyzed Tad's last Pokemon. There's no way to get out of this.
He can't win, basically.
There is absolutely no way.
Even after this turn, he would die to Sandstorm anyway.
Yeah. So that Rock Slide is going to go ahead and finish him off, and that's going to be a win for Nightblade 7000. He's going to move on to the winners of semifinals?
Yeah,
Finals.
I think so.
Semifinals.
Semifinals.
Yeah, and Luke's going to go down to the losers bracket. Still, very likely he'll be able to come back up out of that.